Hey guys, my name is Fuji Young, and today I'm going to be talking about how cybersecurity fights against the dark web, and it's going to talk about an exploration of how cybersecurity professionals detect monitor and counter threats emerging from the internet's most secretive corners. Understanding the dark web. The dark web exists as a hidden network of websites accessible only through specialized browsers like Tor that analyze user activities. Unlike the surface web or deep web, the dark web is initially concealed and provides anomalies that attracts both legitimate and criminal users. The criminal ecosystem. Data marketplace, such as the data marketplaces, malware as a service, hacking tools and services. For data marketplaces, forums and market selling stolen like credit card information and personal information for as little as $1, $200, depending on the data quality and quantity. Malware as a service, ransom, spyware, and custom malware sold with technical support packages, enabling even novice criminals to launch sophisticated attacks. Hacking tools and services ready to deploy, kits, DDoS services, and zero delay vulnerabilities available for purchase or run advanced attack capabilities. This criminal infrastructure operates with services professionalism, including vendor ratings, escrow services, and customer support. Dark web monitoring techniques. There's three techniques: is AI-powered analysts, human intelligence, special crawlers, and this is what it does: automate tools that navigate Tor networks to identify and index criminal marketplace informs. Cybersecurity analysts who establish personas to infiltrate closed communities and gather threat intelligence. Machine learning systems that shift through passive data sets to identify patterns, emerging threats, and compromise credentials. Case study: Operation Bonnet. In 2017, law enforcement agencies executed one of the most special dark web operations to date. Dutch police secretly took control of Hassan Market, a major dark web marketplace. When Alphabet, the largest marketplace, was shut down by the FBI, users fled to Hansa. Law enforcement data collectors for weeks before announcing the takedown resulted in hundreds of arrests and demonstrated the vulnerability of the dark web operations. Organized data defense strategies, credential monitoring, access control, employee training, threat intelligence. Implement dark web monitoring services that alert when companies' credentials appear in data breaches or dark web marketplaces. Deploy multi-factor authentication and principle of at least privileges to minimum damage for compromised credentials. Educate staff about social engineering tactics and publishing attacks that often lead to initial compromise. Threat intelligence. Subscribe to threat feeds that incorporate dark web intelligence to provide early warning of emerging attacks vectors. The ethics and future of dark web monitoring. Ethic considerations, emerging trends. These are the examples: marketplace, increased use of AI, privacy boundaries when monitoring forms, legal for undercover, and potential for surveillance overreach. These are my sources that I used and got most of my information from. And in this video is gonna talk about a story of how the dark web was accessed, and it's gonna talk about a marketplace. And yeah, I watched this video to learn more about it also.
In 2015, the founder of a website called The Silk Road was sentenced to life in prison. The billion-dollar black market site was once the premier online bazaar for drugs and other contraband. but it remained hidden from casual internet users for years because of something called the dark web. So, what exactly is this dark side of the internet? If you think of the web like an iceberg, you've got the surface web up top. That's the internet you see and use every day. What's submerged is the deep web, an anonymous online space only accessible with specific software. And then there's the dark web. Now that's the part of the deep web that hides your identity and location.
The dark web is a series of encrypted networks that serve to anonymize people's use on the internet.
That's Matt Swenson. He's a special agent with the Department of Homeland Security, and his focus is on cybercrime. It's relatively easy for anyone to access this encrypted network. All it takes is downloading darknet software.
The most common dark web networks that we encounter right now are Tor, I2P, and Freenet. Tor is by far and away the most popular.
Tor stands for the Onion Routing Project. It was actually developed by the Navy for the government back in the mid-1990s, but it was open sourced in 2004, and that's when it went public. It's now the dark web browser that the vast majority of people use.
Tor allows a person to surf the internet anonymously so that their web traffic is basically encrypted, and when they view the web, the encrypted traffic won't be attributed to them or their location.
To understand how Tor actually works, you need to know what happens when you typically search the web. Think of your IP address as an online identity. Any device you use to connect to the internet has one. So anytime you visit a website, you can be traced back to your exact location thanks to that IP address. The Tor browser looks like any other, except there's a whole lot happening that you don't see. Instead of your connection request bouncing from its origin right to its destination, Tor sends your request on a much more roundabout route. So let's say you're in New York and you want to search a site hosted in New Jersey. Instead of connecting you directly, the Tor browser takes you on at least 3 random detours called relays. So your request could go from New York to South Africa, from South Africa to Hong Kong, and then from Hong Kong to New Jersey. Tor is comprised of people from all over the planet who are donating their computers to the network. It has more than 7,000 relays to choose from. Bouncing your request around to random computers all over the world makes it much harder for people to find you. Software firm Hyperion Grey put together this map showing all 6,608 dark websites crawled during January 2018. Each screenshot is a site, and the content ranges from the nefarious to the noble. For some users, like journalists or whistleblowers, the dark web is just about identity protection, where individuals can share anonymous tips with the press on secure drop sites. But more often than not, it's tied to the world of cybercrime. Special agents like Swenson are looking for the kinds of users who want this full cloak of anonymity in order to mask their illegal activity. Putting a stop to this kind of crime has been described as a never-ending game of whack-a-mole for law enforcement. But even with the odds seemingly stacked against them, the anonymity of the dark web can sometimes play to the law's advantage. No ID and no location means you never really know who you're talking to.
That is all for my presentation, and I want to say thank you so much for watching and listening and learning about what the dark web is about and how cybersecurity is needed to fight against the dark web. Thank you.